Back in the dark ages of Amazon selling, years and years ago, you used to have reports pulled out of Amazon, put into an Excel sheet. You had to make all of your own data assessments, understand every single data point, and figure out exactly how you were doing from an ASIN basis, all on your own. There was nothing that really helped you on the Amazon side except for the reports themselves, and even those really were just a bunch of data logs that you had to make use of in some way, shape, or form. So, what has Amazon done in recent times to be able to help the average seller understand more where their products stand, understand how much money they're making, and how their inventory in general on Amazon is doing? Well, they've released a few cool tools, one of which being the actual FBA Analytics tab. So the FBA Analytics tab is specifically for all of your FBA products if you are sending and selling on FBA, not FBM, and understanding exactly what is going on with your account as a whole. So as you can see, we have three primary things here. We have our FBA sales, we have our inventory age and excess, and then this new one, FBA grade and resell. So what do all of these do? How do they actually help us? Well, that's what I'm going to try and show you here. So for the FBA sales side of things, this is going to be exactly what it says. It is just the fulfillment of sales. It's a very easy high-level breakdown of where your FBA inventory sales are coming from. It compares year over year. It's very similar to your business reports, but this is just strictly for your FBA side of your business. Secondarily, it will show you what your top sellers are. This is something that, there are a lot of reporting softwares, Merchant Spring, etc., that can do this for you. Even Helium can do this. But Amazon gives it a pretty clear breakdown right here on the actual Seller Central side of things as well. So really useful there as well. There's some areas where it's a little confusing just from the aspect of Amazon's going to be a little bit more accurate than some of those other reporting softwares just due to Amazon having exact data, whereas they are pulling data from Amazon, usually from those report logs. So this easy area to see that. Not too difficult, not to understand, very simple and simplistic. But the interesting one is this inventory age and excess. This is where essentially you can start to understand, especially with all of these new fees that Amazon is adding on for excess inventory to low of inventory, etc., how much you're actually being charged on, a product in general. So as you can see here, we have a couple of different areas. We have our total aging inventory. It's 181 plus days. That is what Amazon considers to be aging and excess inventory. So anything over 6 months. Amazon, if it was a perfect world, would love if everyone had between 3 and 6 months of inventory at all times. That is the sweet spot for them. It's also the sweet spot for most sellers as well from a replenishment standpoint. Secondarily, it will give you a very easy breakdown of how many excess unit SKUs you have. So right here you can see that we have 89. This is up nearly 30% year over year. So if you are adding more SKUs to your catalog, or if you have products you are no longer really carrying, this is an easy way to actually tell where all of that inventory is. Again, with the estimated excess units. So this is just a breakdown of these 89 units, how many you have in excess overall. You can also see if you're going up or down year over year. So you can see that we here are going down about 35%, even though we have an increase in SKUs with excess units. So overall, the amount is kind of coming down there. Next, this is one of the more interesting ones, the inventory age trends. So you can see this is going all the way back a couple of months here, just for April 1st, but it gives us a breakdown of our overall inventory in the FBA warehouse, where we are actually standing from an age standpoint. So you can actually compare and contrast here. You can see us up here where it says aging inventory and aged inventory surcharge. You can do aging inventory and fulfilled sales as well, which will give you a little bit different of a breakdown. And then you can even do the all inventory and aged inventory, all inventory and fulfilled sales. So it gives you a little bit of a breakdown where you can actually even see sales. Are we, having our sales go up or down when it comes to the inventory levels as well? So an easy way to look at this and compare is essentially if you see that your aged inventory is rising over time, while simultaneously your actual sales are decreasing, then you know for a fact that you are having a major issue with actually getting through all of your inventory, and it's going to become more of a problem in the future than it is right now. Same again with the all inventory and fulfilled sales. So this is not just the aged side of things. I like looking at this one. Gives a very good understanding of forecasting ability. So specifically what you should be using this for is understanding, especially if you want to go back further than I only have this back a few months right now, but it gives you a good understanding from the aspect of, are sales increasing or decreasing in regards to how much inventory we have. It will tell you essentially, hey, during peak seasons, and this is very good for seasonality, whether or not you should be sending inventory in excess during that time. So, for instance, with a lot of these products, summertime is a very seasonal type of area, so you're going to want to have less of the inventory during that time. So you can easily see that here where, for instance, we see a little bit of a peak here around beginning of May, and now you're seeing a little bit of a downtrend in overall sales volume as well as overall inventory volume. Part of that is that, again, we are looking specifically as seasonality aspect here. You can even see where essentially it's peaks. So each one of these different little peaks is going to be where we do a replenishment of some kind. So that replenishment is usually, you can see, coming from the 0 to 180 day range. So every single time there's a little bit of a replenishment where we go from 4,500 here to 4,900. So we're sending in 400 units of new fresh inventory to be sold through. Now, past this as well, they have a couple of areas here for insights. So we have estimated excess, and here is where we essentially can do distribution of recommendations. So Amazon obviously is going to recommend what you do with all of this excess inventory. Majority of the time, Amazon's recommendations are kind of lackluster in my opinion. As you can see, 89.9% of their recommendation is get a sponsored product ad. Everyone more than likely already has a sponsored product ad, but Amazon's going to say, hey, do it anyways. Secondarily to that, we have create outlet deals and then create a sale. Outlet deals are one of those things that I think you should definitely be doing. You should only really have outlet deals running if you really can't find another way to sell through excess inventory, and you are trying to essentially liquidate off before you actually have Amazon doing liquidations. Next, we have our aged inventory surcharge. So this is the important one for most sellers, especially with Amazon's new fees around aged inventory. So this is going to tell us exactly how much we are being charged from a surcharge perspective for this aged inventory. So you can see 17.10% in aged inventory surcharges next month. So that means 17% of our total FBA storage bill is nothing but aged inventory. So what does this mean? So it really means that we have a bunch of units we need to get out for some reason. And then as well, they have the history from a month-to-month basis of those inventory surcharges. So we can see exactly, are we going up? Are we going down? Are we being charged more or less? As you can tell, we are going down, and then we're back up again. So it essentially gives a very good understanding of how much you're really being charged, and that's what we really want. We don't want to go back to the days of having to manually calculate everything with an Excel sheet and understand exactly where all of these different charges are coming from, because Amazon used to just give a flat number and say, deal with it. Secondarily, or lastly, I should say, we have inventory age trends. So this is a year-over-year trend. It gives a understanding of exactly where each of your units is in the age range of 0 to over a year old. So you can see whether or not you're going up and down in certain areas. Again, this one isn't super useful, especially until you get to around that over 180 day range, right? And even still, like for instance, this one you can see 5 versus 354 for the 271 to 300, and it's up 7,000%. There's not much we can really do with that information, other than you can look at it and say, oh, okay, so around the time frame of 9 months is when you should expect that if you're not sold through a product, you're going to see a huge increase there. And then lastly, on this page, it gives the breakdown, inventory details for all of your different SKUs, ASINs. So you can actually look and see how many units you have in each one of the different time frames. This is, pretty useful for getting an understanding. You can break this down by each one of these, so you can freeze certain columns. You can sort it by high to low, which is nice. So you can do something like descending. So I want to know anything over 300 days that's been in inventory. It's going to freeze up here because it's pretty slow with it. There we go. And you can start to sort. So, okay, we have a bunch of different units. These are the ones that we should probably focus on when it comes to those deals first and foremost, right? So this is definitely where you should look first and foremost for anything like that. And then the final aspect of this, which is kind of an interesting one, is the actual SKU central page. So everyone knows this page and whatnot, but they've added a few cool tips to this. So similarly to how we have this ability to sort by day range, you can actually click this view SKU info and it will take you to this page, and they have SKU Economics. So SKU Economics is the overall breakdown in the actual Amazon platform for your last 30 days, 6 months, 12 months of any given product. So we'll do last 12 months here. And it gives a very, very good breakdown of exactly where all of the money is going, how the SKU is actually performing. So you can see here we have an average sale price. So what over the last 12 months have we sold this product for on average? This is really cool because this will actually give us an understanding of rather than just our average last 30 days, which we could get that information, which helps for things like Prime Day. You can see, for instance, average in the last 30 days was $7.98. That gives us good information because that lets us know exactly what we have to have our actual discounts at for things like Prime Day, Black Friday, etc. on. But again, let's go to 12 months. It'll give us our total units sold of the product, units returned. So I like this one just from seeing the aspect of where are we actually looking for unit return percentage as well. And then net units sold. So this is after units returned. Now, this is the interesting part, the total Amazon charges. So they actually will break down everything here, which is kind of interesting. They even have the refund administration fee, which is something that you used to not even be able to get before. That used to just be baked in to overall returns and return fees. So they've done a really, really good job of giving us as much data as possible on the individual level with the SKU economics and getting an understanding of what the actual cost of everything is. So there are a few interesting points here as well, is total off Amazon cost. We can actually edit this section. We could put in our cost of goods sold and our miscellaneous costs. So for instance, if you know that your cost of good is $1.50 for this product, you could put that in. I will make the recommendation to anyone not to put that in, simply from the aspect of giving Amazon that kind of information is not something I am ever going to recommend, because who knows what Amazon's going to do with that information. I have seen time and time again where Amazon will take that information and then go and try and manufacture it themselves and sell it as their own product on their own listing, and just copy products entirely, see an entire brand fall because everyone's going to go to the Amazon brand instead. But that being said, if this is something you're interested in, go ahead. You don't necessarily need this to do the overall calculation, because one thing you can do is do a per unit here for this calculation, and then we can understand, okay, $1.25, if I'm paying $1.50 for this, I'm not making money on this. So very, very easy way to understand the entire economics from a per ASIN level on the actual Amazon platform. Then finally, if we head back here to the FBA Analytics side, they have this new section, FBA Grade and Resell. So FBA Grade and Resell is something that was brought about a couple months back, about a year or so ago, late 2023, with the new automated unfulfillable settings. So the new automated unfulfillable settings are specifically where you can choose to have refurbishment, grade and resell, or liquidations of product that comes back that is not in new selling condition. The grade and resell is what we're specifically looking at here. This is where Amazon will grade the product and as a used condition of some kind, so like new used good or used bad, etc. But this is where you actually can start to see the data behind those sales, right? So you can see the FBA grade and resell units sold. So if you ever see Amazon your listing and they have a used product that's being sold, it's because of that setting. And this is where you can actually understand the data. As you saw, we don't have that clicked here, so we don't have any data to actually back this up. But it's very interesting to see that Amazon is being actually open about this, whereas in the past, with any form of reimbursements, Amazon is pretty difficult to work with, to say the least. They don't give you a ton of options or a ton of information, but this will give you some more information as to what are we actually doing here? What is the actual cost of them doing the grading and reselling, and how much are we actually really netting from this? Does it make more sense to have the product sent back to you and then repackaged and sent out, etc.? So it's one of those more interesting ones that I'm excited to kind of see play out. Again, I'm not a huge fan of Amazon's value recovery options with the automated unfulfillable settings. But if you are using them and you want to get that data and understanding behind them, this is a very easy way to go about that. So overall, I do think that Amazon is making a little bit better of an effort in recent years to try and give us more data and information. Are a lot of these things that Amazon should have just had in the first place? Absolutely. Should we have had to go through the dark ages of having to do Excel spreadsheets and automations and everything all over the place? And are there entire softwares out there at this point that do all of this because Amazon never did? Yes. So that being said, this still, I think, is a very useful tool, and it is Amazon exact data. So if you are someone who doesn't want to have to go through the effort of Excel or don't want to have to use a software of some kind to understand it, this is going to be your best bet for getting an overall understanding of your inventory, your FBA, sales, and your items in general.